Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my co-host on the other side, Mr. Cantu.
How's it going? Be ready, Astros fans. The AL West is heating up.
Dude, it is hot right now. Not just in
Hotter
Texas.
than Houston.
Hotter than Houston, you'd say? About over 106 degrees hotter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty blazing down here in the H. But like Angel said, yeah, that September is coming up. The AL West is really wide open. Honestly, it's wide open for the Mariners, for the Rangers, and for the Astros. Mariners right now are on top. And then the Rangers and the Astros are tied for second place. 74 and 58 is the Astros record. Both Rangers and the Astros are one game back from the AL West. But Angel, obviously, we're going to talk about this Tiger series real quick. Beginning, it looked kind of not going so well for the Astros. They literally only had one hit, and that was from Jose Altuve. And if you looked at hit, it really could have gone in air, and the Astros really could have gone with no hits with a no hitter for the Tigers. Or, I mean, at the end of the day, they still didn't win. Framber Valdez, that's the only outcome you could say that was very positive for them, to see him pitch of 7 innings of no hit baseball. The command wasn't there, 5 walks, but hey, I'll still count that as a good stat from him. And then after that, I mean, the offense was just going in full cylinders. Alex Bregman, Mauricio Dubon even did good. Yainer Diaz, all these other guys that we'll mention in a minute. But Angel, come on, tell me that one word to describe this series against the Detroit Tigers.
Honestly, it was a crazy series. Like, I was looking. I actually did not watch the first game. I was at the store with my wife, and I showed her. I was like, oh, man, it's a 1-0 game. Both teams have one hit, and it's in the ninth inning. I was like, oh, man. Like, if the Astros pull this one off, that's going to be one of the crazier games that,
Mm-hmm.
they've had in a no-hit baseball from Framber Valdez and Presley. I forgot who allowed that first hit, but Presley not being able to close it out, like, that hurt. That one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt, but that just shows the toughness of the Astros. They were able to come back and win the other two, and they won it in by 17-4, which is remarkable. If you do that against any team, that's remarkable. And then Eduardo Rodriguez, who's been the Tigers' good pitcher, the Astros were able to tag him for a few runs as well. So it was a great series so far. And 74 wins, just like the Mariners. I mean, the Rangers are 1-3, are 1-9 in the last 10 games. So that AOS is up for grabs, honestly.
Yeah, it's honestly up for grabs. Like I said, September is going to be a crazy month. Looking at the little calendar magnet that I have here, I mean, the Astros are going to face the Rangers in September 4th through the 6th. Then they'll face Seattle like in the last week of September on the 25th and the 27th over there at T-Mobile Park. The Astros will face the A's as well, but I mean, the A's, come on, it's against Oakland. It's really not that very competitive as the other two teams, but it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, the Rangers and the Mariners had to play 7 of their last 10 games against each other in the last part of the season. So honestly, if the Astros continue winning these series against all these teams going throughout the year, they honestly could be in the first spot in the AL West. And not just that, but if they're not in the first spot in the West, they could be in the wild card, and that's all that matters. And that's why I told you, I was like, one of these teams are not going to be in the playoffs. Texas, Seattle, or the Astros. One of them are going to be knocked out.
There's a chance that all three of them might come in. Like right now, the AL standings, wild card standings is Tampa Bay, Texas, and then Houston, and the Blue Jays fell 2.5 games back. So there's a chance that all three AL West teams could make it, but this would be a crucial series for the Astros to win. Out of the Rangers and the Mariners, who are again competing for the division, the Astros are the ones with the hardest team. Seattle plays against Oakland, and the Rangers play against the Mets. And if you saw the trade deadline, the Mets were sellers, so that's how things are going over there. So this would be a much needed series for the Astros.
Yeah, I mean, because when Seattle's playing teams like Kansas City, from I think the 7 of their last 7 games. Now they swept the Kansas City Royals at home. Luckily for the Minnesota Twins, they took 3 out of 4 over there at Target Field. And now the Rangers, like you were saying, they do travel to New York to play the Mets. That team has not been the same ever since the trade deadline, and even really the whole regular season. They just haven't been the same. So you got to feel for that team. But at the same time, that was Mr. Steve Cohen's move. But episode 124, we're going to call this the Eye of the Tiger because the Astros the whole way in this series. Besides that first game, you erase that. Offense was firing in all cylinders. Pitching was phenomenal. So speaking of pitching, let's start off with our shout outs, Angel. Starting pitching is going to be the shout out for me. You're going to go with Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, Justin Verlander. Valdez, like I said, 7 innings, no hit baseball, 0 earned runs, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts. The only thing you could say about his performance was the command. The command wasn't there. 5 walks, that's very rare to see from a Framber Valdez stat line. But hey, it is what it is. I accept it because it was a big bounce back game from him. I don't know. Did you see too the orange jerseys? And I've never seen the orange brim hats in so long, dude. Like I can't even remember the last time the Astros wore the navy blue with the
Hmm.
white star and the orange brim hat. It's been so long ago that I've seen that on the field.
It's a nice one too.
It really is. It's a very underrated one, I would say. But Framber, I feel he's very superstitious. He's superstitious, like Michael Scott says too on The Office, very superstitious and all that other stuff. But maybe the orange jersey is going to be going throughout the whole season. We'll just have to see. But shout out to him because that was a very well needed bounce back start for Framber Valdez. Second one being Hunter Brown now. The hometown kid pitching in Detroit, Michigan, where he all started for him. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. I mean, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Sorry about that. 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Like I said, this is his second start being in Comerica Ballpark. His second career start was in Detroit as well. But 91 pitches, 52 strikes. I mean, he was dealing the whole way. Would have liked to see Dusty Baker go one more inning with him with the 91 pitches, just to give that bullpen a little bit of more breathing room. But hey, it is what it is. Astros offense helped out at the end. That game was a 9-2 game, so great performance from him and bounce back just like from Framber Valdez. And then last but not least, JV. JV is very familiar being at Comerica Ballpark over there in Detroit, Michigan. 5 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He did hit 3 batters as well, so JB was a little frustrated about the command wasn't there for him, just like Framber Valdez. Framber walked 5. JB, I mean, you could really count that as 5 walks too from the 3 batters that he had hit. But at the end of the day, he got to face Miggy one last time, and he did strike him out on a 12-6 Uncle Charlie. If you did not see that, it looked nice. And then even before they even matched up, they both tipped their hats to each other, respecting one of each other. I mean, both of them been on their team for so many years over there in Detroit. But hey, Joe, starting pitching was phenomenal. Hopefully, it just continues to go like that, carrying into Boston.
Oh yeah, and just how starting pitching was phenomenal. The Astros offense was great. Again, taking away that first game, but let's start with Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman was the that's all the Astros needed for game two because like the Rangers scored 2 runs and Alex Bregman had 4 RBIs. He went 5 for 12, 417 batting average, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and 5 walks. In his last 7 games, he is slashing a 429 batting average, 554 on base percentage, and a 679 slugging, and has an OPS over 1,200 with 1 home run, 6 RBIs, and 7 walks. Like this is the Alex Bregman the Astros needed
Hmm.
as the series is winding down because there's been games where it looks like either Jordan or Kyle Tucker. Like if they're not producing, then no one's producing, and then but when it's an all-around team offense, you get scores like 9-2 or even 17 runs scored because that's like that tells you right there that it's a full team effort.
Hmm.
And then Bregman breaks over 800 OPS and joins the top 5 hitters sorry, on the top of the lineup to have an 800 OPS. And again, all needed for Bregman. He works hard. He's always trying to find new things in order to make his swing work. Like again, either like a like toe tap or you know like hands like higher up. Like he's always working, and
Hmm.
his work has been paying off so far.
Yeah, have you seen too? His batting stance has changed. He's squatting a little lower than he usually does. He usually has that stand up stance with a little wiggle of his right arm in the back. But at this time, if you look at him now, compared to that, the beginning of the season and really for his whole career, he was always standing up. Now it's kind of a bent, knees a little bit more bent, trying to get that power back into play with driving through the legs. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how he's working in that 2 hole. It'll be interesting. We'll give you the update in a minute about Michael Brantley. See how this lineup's going to switch out, man. I'm very intrigued to see what Dusty Baker's going to do whenever um, the time comes. But yeah, Alex Bregman on the other hand, 800 OPS too. That's great, man.
Yeah, that's what you want to be. That's your ideal season over 800. Like any less than that is like average, but 800 is above average for sure.
Hmm.
And Jerry Pena, he's been
Agree.
long due for our shout out. Again, it's been a up and down season for Pena. He's actually had to work to this season. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people say the sophomore slump, but it's just the league adjusting. Like the league knows how to pitch you. Like again, these
Hmm.
are major league pitchers, and baseball's hard enough. And then when they're throwing 90-mile-per-hour sliders and 100 fastballs, like it's hard. But Jerry Pena has been adjusting. He's 6 for 11, 545, one double, one triple, three RBIs, one walk, and one stolen base, filling up the stat board for sure. He
Yeah.
hit. He's hitting over 400 in his last 7 games, and he had a 5 hit game. I don't know if you saw that post game uh, with Julia, where like he was a player of the game because he did record his first career 5 hit game
Hmm.
on Sunday, and he had to finish it off by saying um, that Jose Altuve has never had one. He's like, and then he said, um, Altuve may have 2,000 hits, but I have a 5 hit game.
Perfect game.
It's,
That was
it's
so funny. I mean, to be true, I mean, he does now have a 5 hit game in his second year in the season, while Jose Altuve, future Hall of Famer, does not have at least one game.
I mean,
And
he's
this
been
man has
close
probably, yeah, he's been close. I mean,
many
playing
times.
over what 1,600 games, I would say,
Yeah.
or 1,600 at bats on one of those stats. I mean, shoot, you think he would have one hit? I mean, a 1 5 hit game in his career, but he just hasn't found it yet.
I'm calling it right
Yet.
now. Before Altuve retires, he will have at least one 5 hit
At least
game.
one.
At
I'll
least
go
one.
with that too. I'll go with that too. He should be able at least to have one other than 5 hit games in his career.
No, but it's a bright spot for Pena, honestly, because this was last year in 2022. In August, he was hitting 218, and in September, he kind of picked it up in 257, and then you saw what he did in October, right? So,
Hmm.
like he was trending in the right direction that year, and then could be a little bit of of a, a little glimpse of last year, because again, like Jerry Pena kind of struggled a little bit in the beginning of the season last year as well, and then now
Hmm.
August he's batting 296. So
Wow.
if he's trending upwards, like like one of my teammates like told me today is like it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season, it's what you do in the like in the playoffs. So
Yeah, very
um,
true.
backstory because because I was slumping and then I found it today. So it's like yeah, so like same thing goes for Pena. Like if they can make it to the playoffs, nothing what he did in the regular season is gonna matter. It's what they do in October. So
That I
yeah.
mean, it's very true because that's all that matters. If he could continue having this hot streak that he's having really in August to September, that just makes the offense way better for the month of September. Catch a hot streak, maybe have a 9 game, 10 game winning streak like how the Mariners had, like the Rangers have had, maybe something like that. The Astros haven't had a hot streak like that in a good while of winning multiple
Yeah,
games and
I don't think
consecutive
this year.
games. Yeah, it's been like at maybe max 4 or 5. I can't recall when was the last hot streak that they had, but if they catch hot in September, and if like you were saying, if Pena continues this trend going into October, if the Astros can make the October postseason, watch out because that's like you said, all it matters is what you do in the postseason. And Jeremy Pena did show that last year in October with the Astros.
So far this season, the highest win streak for the Astros was 8,
Oh, okay. Well,
and that's when they played. That was the last game of the Chicago White Sox series. They swept the Cubs, they swept Oakland, and then won the first one in Milwaukee. But they ended up losing that series to Milwaukee.
mm,
Yeah,
okay.
so they have won 8, but again, I think the Astros since 2017 have at least won like I think have hit double digits on win streak.
Multiples.
Yeah, or
Uh-huh.
like had multiple hot streaks or have reached double digit in like. like consecutive wins. But again, it's been a grind this season. It's been a grind, but
Yeah.
they're still in it.
Hey, tougher competition too in the next month. This helps. I honestly think it really helps you going into September and October. I mean, well,
Basically,
for the postseason, but first you have to win those games in September. But at the same time, too, tougher competition is just going to make you more tougher, and it'll help you more when you go into better teams because that's all you're going to see is better teams in the postseason. So I think this is more of a benefit for the Astros. Plus, they do play better against 500 winning percentage teams when it comes to against opponents.
yeah. And then someone who's gonna help him up is Michael Brantley.
Yeah,
Again, we got some little updates. So last time we shared that he went into Dusty Baker's office. And Michael Brantley said he wasn't ready. He's still need a few more days, and I mean, it makes sense. The body, you know, I'm 25 and I'm struggling, so I can imagine him at 30, over 30. So, but this is a Michael Brantley update. Friday night, he started his sixth rehab game, batting second, finished the game 2 for 3 with a double and a walk. Again, Michael Brantley has been torturing minor league hitting as expected. So Saturday night, which was the seventh rehab assignment, batting second again as the DH this time. He finished game 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. You know, he looks pretty good. He looked pretty good
no,
down there, Sugar. I know Saturday night, I believe was a U of H night, or was it Friday? One of those nights.
Friday night. Friday night
Friday
was.
night.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know my sister hurried over there to go get a little jersey, but
Corey Jokes night too.
was
That's
it?
what it was. Yeah, Corey
Oh,
Jokes,
okay,
U of H jersey giveaway. I think it was something like that.
okay,
So,
cool, cool. But I don't know if you heard, Michael Brantley's in Boston.
oh,
He's in
is he?
Boston.
Yeah, he's touched
Yeah,
down over there in Beantown.
yes, and I'm sure he's not just there for a vacation. Because Sunday morning, per Dana Brown on Sports Talk 790, the next step is joining the team on the road trip, and then hopefully we can see him, maybe potentially in the lineup by Tuesday.
Maybe
That's one of the first times they have put a time frame on Michael Brantley.
that's kind of true. That's
Like,
very true.
they would say weeks away. They would say he's a few games away, but Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. That's
Dana Brown setting the tone right there. That's what he's doing. He's setting the tone.
And then per Julian Morales, Dusty Baker said Michael Brantley is meeting the team in Boston. Decision not made yet on when he would be activated. Now, this is my question for you. I know this is off script, but Michael Brantley's been batting second in rehab assignments. Now, I
Mhm.
know a big factor to that is because he's in the minor leagues. I think Jordan let off one game like in his rehab assignment. Obviously, he's not going to do that in the major leagues, but
Mhm.
where do you see Brantley in the lineup? Because I know again, Alex Bregman's having a hot start, like a hot little run, batting second. And
Mhm.
I know when Jordan Alvarez came back, he was like leave Kyle Tucker in the third spot. I'll move down, because he's hot. So where do you see Michael Brantley batting in this Astros lineup?
Man, it's really tough because you like. And I said this. I like Bregman being in that two hole. He draws a bunch of walks. His OPS is pretty freaking high. It just showed you right there the
Mm-hmm.
last 7 games that his OPS, and that's what it really matters is the guys getting on base. Um, Man, but putting Brantley in that two hole, I feel like would do good, do justice for that lineup. At the same time, too, I wouldn't mind him being at the bottom. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't mind him being at the bottom of the lineup. Because somebody had put out a tweet, baseball lawyer on Twitter. He had said like a kind of like a projected lineup, you could say maybe. He has Altuve, Bregman, Jordan, Tucker. This is without Martin Maldonado. Yiner Diaz would be 5. Chas McCormick 6, Brantley 7, Jose Abreu 8, Jeremy Pena 9. I wouldn't mind at all Brantley being in that 7 spot to the 6 to 7. I would like to see him.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
and what makes it difficult putting Brantley in that second spot is you already have Tucker and Alvarez batting back to back, and they're lefties. Like
Hmm.
there's a saying that putting three lefties back to back is bad luck, like
Hmm.
in the lineup. And since it is just not a matchup, and yes, like I know that um, both Jordan and Kyle Tucker are really good against lefties,
Hmm.
but they have a lefty specialist, and you put Michael Brantley, Kyle Tucker, and Jordan Alvarez back to back to back. Like,
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
I don't like that. So
It,
because Go ahead. Go ahead.
If they do that, then you look at Altuve being 1, Brantley being 2. You could either throw Jordan or Kyle at 3. Bregman would go back to 4. That's when you'll put again, like I said, you mix with Kyle Tucker and Jordan Alvarez in that 3 and 5 spot, and you'll have Chas McCormick, Yainer Diaz, whoever, however you want to build that last part of the lineup. Yeah, I think you could do something like that because Bregman in the 4 hole too has done pretty good this season. But to me, I think if he's riding hot right now in that 2 hole, I would let it be. And I would say put Michael Brantley in that bottom part because sometimes too, if the Astros have runners on, bases loaded, 2 outs, that comes with the 6th spot. I would be very comfortable with having Michael Brantley batting 6 or 7 with runners on first and third with 2 outs. I think that could be another beneficial for this Astros lineup and putting
Yeah,
Michael Brantley down there.
and like if you even put, say for example, you put Pena at 6 and then Brantley at 7, Pena has a little bit of protection because he's gonna get pitches to hit because
Mhm.
they don't want to face Brantley. They
Yeah.
they want to get him out. So I don't know that that could
Now,
work.
now, now, how he had Pena in the 9 hole, I wouldn't mind that either. That's
Yeah,
just another speedster being in the 9 hole. That's how it usually is. It's either the contact and speed kind of guy being in the 9 hole. Right there, that'd be Jeremy Pena. And then, of course, but we have to take in fact about Martin Maldonado being in the lineup. Obviously, he's going to be the starting catcher to Justin Verlander, to all these guys. It just depends what Dusty Baker's feeling, how the Astros organization feels about, because now if you think about it too, Yainer Diaz is going to be at the bench, but
yeah.
they'll
I was
they'll
just
have
thinking about that.
yeah, but they'll have to. I'm pretty sure they're going to put him and Brantley, mixing each game up together in that DH spot, or whoever is going to be catching. Same thing with Jordan and Brantley as well being in left field. So, I mean, this is good to have, honestly, because like I said, you put him in the bottom of the part of the lineup. I think it makes it stronger. Like you were saying, you could put 6 Pena, you could put Abreu 6, and they
Yeah,
still have to pitch to him.
I forgot about it, Brady. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is very beneficial for the Astros. Real quick, Michael Brantley. This is from Astros Future. His 7 games in the rehab, he was batting 348 on base percentage, 444, slugging 565 with 2 doubles, 1 home run, 7 RBIs, 4 walks, and 0 strikeouts. 0. So
That's
he's
impressive.
seeing the ball very well. The discipline at the plate, the vision at the plate, whatever you want to call it, he's looking very well. And for the Astros to have him, and I mean, Brian McTaggart too already had said, you did say he was in Beantown. Yeah, 7:54 p.m. on a Sunday night. Michael Brantley has joined the Astros in Boston in anticipation of being activated in the next couple of days.
I saw that.
So if it's not when we're recording on a Sunday night, if it's not Monday, which you're listening to this today, by all means, it's fine by me. Tuesday and Wednesday, that's where you're going to see Michael Brantley in the lineup.
Before we move on to pitching preview, comparing the 2019 Astros, I think that was one of the best Astros lineup.
Mhm.
Uh, we can even argue in history. What about this year's lineup? Fully healthy with the addition of Yanier Diaz. Say Michael Brantley's been like once Michael Brantley comes back.
Mhm.
What is his lineup rate from
So
like
if you're saying
comparing the
to
2019
2019,
to
if
this one?
if both teams are healthy,
Both teams are healthy,
I
and
still say 2019. That's the thing.
ideally having Yanier Diaz as catcher. 'Cause I think Yanier Diaz is a better hitter than Martin
I'd still
Maldonado.
I'd still say 2019.
Okay.
2019 was one of the best Astros lineups in history, and that was putting either Robinson Chirinos or Martin Maldonado right there. But this one, I mean, is pretty good
I do want to say,
because
I do want to say, if the pitching that we had in 2019 was like the pitching the Astros had, I'm sorry, if the pitching they what they would have had in 2022 was like the pitching they had in 2019, I could argue this would have been the uh,
best team.
best team because if the pitching's consistent with that offense, that's that's great.
I mean, but if you think about it, you just look back at that 2019, what you had Justin Verlander, you had Garrett Cole, you had, I think Dallas Keuchel was still a part of the team. I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
McCullers,
McCullers, um, not Charlie Morton, Jose Urquidy, and Urquidy was pitching really well in the World Series. Um,
Valdez,
no, yeah, Framber Valdez too. Framber Valdez, I mean, wasn't the Framber Valdez from
yeah,
2022. Um, But I mean, too, he's still a good pitcher. But if really, I think that 2020, the 2019 is probably one of the best offensive juggernauts that the Astros have had in organizational history.
Yeah.
But this 2023 team, if you like you said, if you put Yiner Diaz in the mix, and if like I said, Jose Abreu and Jerry Pena hit the way that they're hitting, like as of right now, well, at least JP3 hitting as where he has right now, and if they could find, if I feel like Jose Abreu is the only one, if he could find his stretch down in September, this offense could catch fire leading into October. You never know what's going to happen. Because if you think about it, the Braves are the best right now. Let's just say that
It's true.
they are the World Series favorites.
It's true.
But remember, 2019, the Astros were the World Series favorites. That didn't happen. They had the
Foul
most,
pole away. A foul
yeah.
pole away.
They had the home runs. I mean, they everybody thought 2021 too that the Astros were going to beat the Braves in the World Series. But of course, Lance McCullers had his injury, and that's baseball. You really can't do nothing about it. Fermin Valdez wasn't sharp. Christian Javier the same way. So, and, that's baseball. But that's the thing that comes to me with the Braves is yes, they are on this hot streak, but when it comes to October, and I mean, that team has a bunch of experience playing, in the fall. So I don't know. Well, we'll just have to see what in this series what happens, what Dusty Baker decides, how the lineup's going to look. I'm very intrigued. I'm very excited to see because this is the first time the Astros are going to have Michael Brantley in the lineup since June or July of 2022. This man has missed a year and a half of baseball. So I'm pretty sure everybody in that locker room is going to be excited when Michael Brantley returns. But let's already get to that preview, Angel. They're going against Boston Red Sox, Beantown, Dirty Water. I mean, this team too. The Astros seen them just last week. They split that series. The Astros were hot them first two games, and then all of a sudden, them last two just couldn't close it out. But the Red Sox are 69-62. They're fourth in the AL East, 6-4 in their last 10 games, just like the Stros, and they just lost their recent series to the LA Dodgers. A lot of homecomings there, really. Mookie Betts going back to Boston, Kike Hernandez. You even have a bunch of the Red Sox players like Kenley Jansen playing against his former team with the Dodgers, Alex Cora. And there's a bunch of former players from both sides of their organizations. But let's get that preview going. Monday, 6:10 start time. You got Christian Javier on the mound for the Astros. 9-9 with a 3.55 ERA. He'll be going against Chris Sale, 5-3, 4.68 ERA. And Mr. Christian Javier himself, last start versus Boston, he did pick up the win. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. That's a good stat line, but I think every Astros fan and everybody, looking at the Astros, they want to see Christian Javier go more than 5. If he could find a way to go 6, if he could find a way at least to even go 7 in one of these games, I mean, you're saving the bullpen. The Astros are not having an off day until this Thursday coming up after the Boston series, which is really going to help everybody in that clubhouse. But if Christian Javier could find a way to pitch 6-inning baseball in Boston, that will help the bullpen much needed. But on the other side, you got Chris Sale, his last outing against Houston. 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Yeah, like we were talking about the other time when the other preview with Chris Sale, he was going to have a pitch count on him. And I believe he had pitched 80 pitches in that game, 80 something, at least around there. So there's a possibility that Alex Cora could see him stretching out to 90 pitches, just depending how the game goes. If Chris Sale's flowing really well for the Red Sox, then by all means, Alex Cora is going to ride with his ace. And against right-handed hitters, I mean, he's done really well against them, 227 opponent batting average. And when he pitches at Fenway Park, gosh, I was going to sound like a Northeastern kind of guy, Park. But yeah, Fenway Park, 190 opponent batting average against righties and lefties. So he loves pitching in B-Town. He loves pitching with the home crowd behind him. So it'll be interesting to see how this first game goes. Like I was saying before, Chris Sale did allow 4 earned runs in Houston, but at the same time too, he's back at home at Fenway Park, and I'm pretty sure that crowd's going to be behind him because them too. The Red Sox are still trying to fight a way to get into that wild card race. Then on Tuesday, 6:10 start time again. You got Mr. JP France, 9-5 with a 3.51 ERA. Let me mention something real quick. 9 wins. I've been mentioning 9 wins a lot lately. Christian Javier has 9. JP France has 9. Hunter Brown just picked up his 10th win. Justin Verlander just picked up his 10th win. The only one, if Javier and France finds a way to win these games and beat Framber Valdez, still waiting for that 10th win. So I'm just making that announcement right now that these starting pitchers only have 9 wins, which is really crazy, especially how late it is in the season. But anyway, JP France is going to go against Brian Bayo, which he's been doing really well for the Red Sox this year. 10-7 with a 3.56 ERA, and there's nothing about it. Jonathan Patrick, I mean, he struggled. This was the worst start in his career against the Boston Red Sox. 2 1/3, 11 hits, 10 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. That is very rough to see as an Astros fan. Even saying it on the pod right now. And I mean, that's pretty rough for JP France to go through. But at the same time, like I said before, this guy is not going to be having every quality start. He's not going to be pitching every great game. It's just one of those days. You live and you learn, you bounce back, you erase it. And that's what he said. He just said, you know what? I'm ready to move on to the next one. And this is going to be that revenge game for him against the Boston Red Sox. See what he's made of. He's been really great on the road too, pitching. So it'll be interesting to see how JP France bounces back from his last start against the Red Sox.
Yeah, and it'll be crazy if JP France can pass Javier and Framber in wins because remember Javier and Framber have been there since day one, opening day, and France was like once the injuries like were happening, so
Yeah.
that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, it'd be good. I mean, he's been one of the most consistent pitchers for the Astros, really for the 2/3 of the season, I'd say. I mean, he's been really doing really well for them. But you live and you learn, and you bounce back onto the next one. So we'll see what he does. But Brian Bayo, I mean, he had a great outing against the Astros because his Red Sox were scored 10 plus runs against them, and it made Corey extend him as long as he could. 7 innings, 9 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. The only positive I could say about that outing for the Astros was getting 9 hits against him. I think that was very positive. Running and scoring position wasn't there for the Astros, but hitting 9 off of Bayo, that's pretty good, I would say. But he threw 46 sinkers, 24 sliders, 21 changeups, 12 four seam fastballs. So the slider sinker mix, we're going to see a lot. Changeups, when he gets into that 2 strike count, he's going to find a way to put that in play, make you get a ground ball. If he does pitch a mistake, you got to take advantage of it. But 39 balls and 27 of them were strikes in that play. Brian Bayo, one of the best guys in that Red Sox for them. Really, with the rookie he is this year for them, he's been doing a great job for him, and he's going to have to do another great job pitching at Fenway Park.
Okay.
Last but not least, Wednesday series finale. The last time the Astros will play the Red Sox, and we'll see who takes the series in 2023, either the Astros or the Red Sox, because it could come down for the wild card spot at the end of the day. Just have to keep playing great baseball against these guys. But 3:10 start time, you got Framber Valdez, who is 9-6, another 9 winner. 3.19 ERA. He'll be going against Cutter Crawford, 6-6 with a 3.65 ERA. What a name right there, dude. Cutter with a K. Cutter Crawford.
You have to be a pitcher with a name like that.
And I didn't even check if he throws a cutter. That'd be interesting. But Framber Valdez, we read out the stat line against Detroit: 7 innings pitched, no hit baseball, 0 earned runs. It was just the walks. The command wasn't there for him, but I mean, it was a great game that he pitched. But this will be the first time Valdez pitches him this year, and he's done really well against the Red Sox in his career. 4 starts. He is 2-1 with a 1.59 ERA, 19 strikeouts. If you remember in 2021, playing at Boston in that ALCS game, he pitched a hell of a game over there with a rough crowd being over there in Beantown. So it'll be interesting to see. Angel, do we see the orange jerseys and that orange brim hat again on Wednesday?
It'd be a good chance. I mean, whenever you throw no hit, whenever you don't allow any hits, it's always a great outing. So I say ride the wave. Just do it again. Do it again. And then I do have confirmation about Cutter Crawford. He indeed throws a cutter. It's actually his second. Sick. It's actually his second best, second most thrown pitch besides the 4-seam fastball. So
that is freaking sick. Naming your son Cutter with a K, and he throws a cutter. Pitcher. That's so cool. That's so cool. But
he throws 6 pitches actually.
Oh, the cutter?
No, like 6.
Oh, the pitches. Arsenal.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice. We won't have that one for this one though, but we'll talk about Cutter Crawford real quick. His last
Okay.
outing versus the Chicago Cubs: 6 innings, 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 of them being earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. He hasn't pitched against Houston this year, but he did pitch against them last year at Minute Maid Park, and he did receive the W. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. The positive thing for Astros fans to hear about this guy: he struggles big time at Fenway Park. 568 ERA. Opponent slugging percentage, Angel, 475. Left-handed hitters, he struggles against them. 304 opponent batting average with a 404 WOBA. And that just adds on to more of this. First time through the lineup, he does do pretty good. 209 ERA, 207 opponent batting average. But after that, you get him out of his groove. You make the tweaks. You make you go back into the dugout. Look at the film again. Study him. Second time and third time through the lineup, he is not the same. 551 ERA, second time through the lineup with a 268 opponent batting average, 488 slugging percentage. Third time through the lineup, 9 ERA, 324 opponent batting average, 765 slugging. So he struggles
It's a big
going
difference.
into deeper into games. You got to get him out of that groove. And the first 2 innings, try to get him through the first time. Second, after that, I think it's a smooth sell, looking at the stats at least. But at the same time, too, it's baseball. You never know what's going to happen. Astros are riding a 2-game winning streak right now after taking 2 of those games in Detroit. I mean, you score 9 runs the second game. You scored 17 runs in the third game. This offense should be firing in all cylinders, and you have Michael Brantley coming back. He will be activated. He has to be activated off the IL in one of these games, but we'll just have to see, Angel. Great opportunity, like we always say.
Yeah, and again, if Michael Brantley is activated, you have three left-handed hitters. You just said that. Cutter Crawford struggles with lefties 304 batting average, and you know what makes it even worse? He
Hmm.
got the pesky pole.
Pesky.
That's one of the unique parts of Fenway Park. I'm sure everybody knows, but just in case you don't know, the pesky pole is a little shorter than any other foul pole in Major League baseball, so that's why we call it that because a bunch of home runs sneak by. But yeah, it'd be great to see. I know Jordan and Kyle Tucker would love to say hello to that pesky pole.
Yeah, Jordan's due for a home run, dude. He hasn't hit
It's
one
been a while.
since the first week of August. I think we talked about the last time.
It's been a while. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
it's been a while.
But it's time for our MVPs and our hot takes. Last week I had Altuve, Verlander, the Astros scored more than 4 runs. Well, if it wasn't because of that first game, I would have hit that one. But what do you what do you think? One, two out of three.
2 out of Astros will score more than 4 runs this series. I mean, they did 2 out of the 3. I guess you could call that a dub. You could give the Verlander one a dub. Altuve, on the other hand, I don't know how he did this series. I don't think he did really well.
Uh,
So
it's alright. I'll take the 1 out of 3. It's all good. Um, but this week I have Kyle Tucker as my offensive MVP again. I say he loves that pesky pole a little bit. I think he hits one out there, putting the ball. And again, with that swing, it kind of reminded him of the young Ted Williams. So what a 10 year
it's true.
Ted Win. I don't know if you remember, but they would compare him to Ted Williams because of that swing, and back in
There,
Boston, very
there,
nice.
there is a red steed out there too that's dedicated to Ted Williams. So maybe he hits it over there 500, 500 something feet. I can't
Something,
remember the top of my head. 505, I think. I'll check it when you get the other ones.
something like that. And then my pitch MVP is going to be Framber Valdez. I say you know, I said this last time when he threw a no hitter. I was like, he's going to bounce back, change things happen. But if we can stay focused and just focus on being a great pitcher, I think Framber got it. And then my hot take is Astros hold the Red Sox to 3 or less runs in every game this series.
That is a very good hot take because the Red Sox, Duvall's been hitting well, Verdugo's been hitting well. That offense is pretty good. So I mean, the Astros offense is pretty well themselves. But Angel, I do got confirmation for that. 502 red seat for Ted
That was a
Williams
shot.
in right field.
That was a shot.
Yeah, so like you said, Kyle Tucker, maybe he can make a bid for it. But last series, I had Jordan Alvarez, Hunter Brown, and Astros starters will pitch 6+ innings. I said Framber and JV would throw 7. Alvarez had a decent series. Hunter Brown got the dub. Astros starters did not pitch 6+. Only Framber Valdez with number 7. So I don't know, 2 out 3, 1 out 3, whatever you want to call it. I think it was all right. But this one's new. Jerry Pena, I'm riding with the hot hand right now in that lineup. Has had a great month of August, like you said, 296. You got to finish strong in this month, man. I'd say he continues on in this road trip in Boston. Maybe he tests over there in the Green Monster. Haven't hit a home run there, I believe, in his career. So it'd be interesting to make some more history that he's done in his young career.
Well, he did
JP
sign his.
France.
Well, he did sign his name next to Babe Ruth, so hopefully the pop comes in.
Yeah, maybe he can. I don't know if Babe Ruth hit a home run in the Green Monster, but I know for sure he didn't. Like you said, he did sign his name with Babe Ruth. But JP France being my pitching MVP, this guy, I believe he is going to have a bounce back game. I certainly have a great 80% chance he does have a great game and bounces back from that last start. Of course, he's going to look at the mechanics. Maybe he was tipping, maybe he wasn't. He's just going to have to go back, look at at the film and see what he could do differently against a good team like the Red Sox. Like we said before, that team's been really hot. They've been hitting really well. The Astros are going to see Adam Duvall again, so they better change it up because I know for sure, at least for me, I'm tired of seeing Adam Duvall hitting home runs. So JP France being my pitching, and then the hot take. This one's an interesting one. The Astros sweep the Red Sox in Boston. I
Okay.
believe it can happen. This is a great chance to do it, especially with how the record is for the AL West with the Mariners and with the Rangers. Take advantage of it. You got to do something about it. You got your player coming back, being Mr. Uncle Mike himself with Brantley. So I just feel like he's going to rejuvenate that clubhouse. Kyle Tucker's going to be happy. Chas McCormick's going to be happy. Everybody in that clubhouse is going to be happy to see Uncle Mike swing a bat. So I'll say the Astros will sweep the Red Sox at Boston.
Wait, I have a question. Have the Astros ever swept the Red Sox of Boston?
I think they have. I want to say 2014, 2015, one of those years around there. I believe they have because I've seen a tweet about that. But like I said, I just can't think of it at the top of my head. But I want to say they had.
Okay, because I know the Astros actually have a losing record against the Red Sox in their history. I think they're 33-40 all time against the Red Sox. So that'll be
30, 33 and 40.
huh
And that's just all career,
all time. Yeah.
all time. Oh, wow. Speaking of all time, hey, congratulations to Yainer Diaz. I think Angels looking at the Red Sox and Astros swept thing, but real quick, Yainer Diaz becomes the all-time catcher to have more home runs in a single season in franchise history. He with his 19th bomb at Comerica Park on Sunday, he passes Brian McCann, B-Mac, and Jason Castro. Castro the Astro, you would say. They had 18 home runs. Yainer Diaz has 19 now. So big
Wow.
congrats to that guy. He has a brave and young future ahead of him. I'm very excited what the future holds for him. Well, I'm pretty sure next year it's going to be very interesting to see what happens at Maldonado. Maybe Yainer Diaz catches majority of the games, and at that point of Maldi's career, he's kind of there just to be the mentor. So just have to see what happens about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about the sweep, so I didn't find anything. I'd be
It's all
interested.
right. Well, we'll check and we'll tweet it out. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be a great one. That'd
Yeah.
be a great one. But moving on to our friendly competition of over and unders right now. I lost. I lost a point. I knew it. I had a feeling about that one. It's 29-31 now. Lorenzo is up. I lost a point with the Presley going 2 innings, and I knew it. I knew I should have gone under, but I want to get a low edge on that one. But here's the first one. Framber Valdez records less than 3 walks against the Red Sox. He had 5 walks against Detroit, 2 walks against Seattle, and 1 walk against Miami. Do you go over or under?
And this is over and under for Framber recording less than 3 walks. I'll go
Yes.
over. I mean under on that one. I meant under.
Okay.
I think he does get control of his command. I think he does pitch a better game against the Red Sox, like you were saying. Maybe the orange jersey, maybe the orange brim. It helps him out. He found a new jersey. We don't know, but yeah, I think he does have better command of this game, and he will pitch under 3 walks.
Now, I'm a little conflicted with this one because I know the Red Sox. Yes, they grind out at bats, and I know they're competing in the AOS, but at this point, it all just depends on Framber and his focus. But I am gonna go under, but
Mhm.
tentatively, it could go over, but I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, just got to see how he plays out there. Of course, the fans, like I said, Boston's a great baseball town. They're going to be behind the Red Sox, obviously, and especially with the Astros, a great team coming in over there at Fenway Park. Yeah, Framber's going to have to get control of his mental side of it, and like I said too, the command just got to be pitching better in this down stretch of the season.
Yeah. Now, it'll, it'll be interesting to see because you mentioned that, like, to get out of his head a little bit with that fans in Boston. Like, this is gonna be a playoff atmosphere,
Yeah,
um, in Boston. So hopefully he can keep a cool head, compact, and if he can, then I'm I'm running with positivity to the playoffs. But if he can't, then
definitely.
that pitch count's gonna be crucial for that one. But moving on, Javier pitches more than 6 innings, over or under. He's been kind of on a pattern lately. Boston he pitched 5, Miami 4.2, Baltimore 5, New York 4.2.
Nah, we break it this time, baby. We're breaking it. We are breaking it. Um, Christian Javier will pitch 6 innings,
Oh wow.
just flat like
Okay.
that. I haven't. I want to check right now. Speaking of it, but I do see Christian Javier having a great start against the Boston Red Sox. This is a great team to do it against. And I've been big on Christian Javier trying to get over the 6 inning plateau. It needs to happen soon. It needs to happen now. Because like Robert Flores said when we had talked about him on our, when he came on as a special guest, he's going to be the X factor of that pitching rotation, the starting rotation. So it starts now for Christian Javier because the Astros are just running out of time in September. Amount of games that I think 20 something, 30 something games left. Got to start now, and this is a great way to start against a good team like that.
You know, I was with you because I do agree. I do want to see Javier be vintage Javier, not this. Again, that pattern we just talked about, 5, 4.2, that's where he's around. But I don't think this is the game he does it. I'm going to go under on this one. I say he pitches 5.1. You know, like,
5.1.
and we're trying to be a little bit more exact. 5 innings and 1 out, yes.
The last time Christian Javier pitched 6 innings, it was against the Tampa Bay Rays on July 28th. Before that, he pitched 6 innings on June 15 against the Washington Nationals. And in May, he had 3 6 inning games, 1 7 inning game.
Oh, wow.
So, hey, August, he has yet to pitch a 6 inning game. At least if he's doing it once a
Hmm.
month, this could be the day that Christian Javier has six plus 6 plus innings on this one. So I'm very firm that he could do the over on 6.
Okay. I mean, and actually, before that pattern started, that 4.25 pattern, like you said, he did throw a 6 inning game against Tampa, but I mean, we will see what happens.
Hmm.
Um, Now, Bregman, he's been pretty, again, we just talked about how he's been pretty hot. No adjustment on his swing. Can always is good to Bregman. So, what do you think about this one? Bregman keeps up his hitting ways and records 3 or more RBIs this series. So, Detroit, he had 4. Majority came, I think all of them came in that second game. But, like, last time against Boston, he had 1. In Seattle, he had 2.
Hmm. I'm going over. I think he's going to take advantage of the Green Monster. When you put the ball, if launch angle on that ball, it's either going to bounce off of it, it's either going to go over it. Maybe he takes a tour to Lansdowne Street over there behind the Green Monster. You never know. Every time I think of Alex Bregman playing in Fenway Park, I think of that game in 2017 where he hits that home run off Chris Sale to give the Astros a tie ball game. And I think it was ALDS game 4. So I think he'll have 3 or more RBIs. He's seeing the ball very well, which is great to see. Um, like we talked about before, the OPS is up there. I think he has a great series against the Red Sox. So I'm going over 3 RBIs.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had my mind made up before this one even came. I say 3. Uh, I'll go with 3. Again, it's what the Astros need, and I think Bregman has the capacity to do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not least, let's roll with Jeremy Pena again. We did that. We brought back Pena in the hot takes. And, I'm sorry, in the over unders, and he did pretty good. So why not keep that? You know, if
Keep
it
it going.
happens twice, it's a tradition. So let's see if it does. So Pena stays hot and has 4 hits or more against Boston. May I remind you, Detroit he had 6. Boston in that 4 game series he had 5. Seattle he had 2.
You said twice. Twice is nice, right? So let's go over on this one. 4 hits. He will have either exactly 4 hits or just a little bit more. It's a 3 game series. Um, like we talked about it. He is hitting almost 300 batting average wise in August. Maybe he could catch hot and continue it on to September, but I think he, like I said, I go on the over with 4 hits and more. And then plus Angel, come on, dude. It's my offensive MVP. I gotta go with him, dog. So yeah, 4 more hits I see Pena doing on this series.
One thing I have to give credit to Jeremy Pena is that when the lights are bright and it's a meaningful game, he does tend to show up, just like at those AOCS and World Series. So
Hmm.
I'll be going with over as well in this one. I do say he gets 4 exactly. Getting 5 in a 3 game series is kind of hard. Um, so I do say 4. 4 hits now.
Yeah, I mean it is hard to get 4 or 5 hits against a good team like this. And like you said, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. And when you, like you said too, when the lights are bright, he tends to show up in these moments, and it can happen right there. Maybe the Astros end up seeing Sweet Caroline after the series. It just depends on how they play, but it's going to be very good for these Astros to just have Michael Brantley back. Being able to play against the Red Sox again, try to get the series win of 2023. But like two, they just got to find a way to continue winning ball games because, like Alex Bregman had said in one of the post games, I think it was in the second game of the Tiger series. Every game is a must-win kind of thing for them, and you've mentioned it too. Every series is a must-win. You can't look back now. You can't settle down for where you're at. You got to continue on and win multiple games.
Yeah.
Yep. But other than that, Angel, I mean, that's it for us today. Continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call Elon Musk's app. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. Continue to follow us on Twitter, not Twitter, TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Threads. Don't be scared to follow us on there. We're still there. And then, of course, of all our podcast platforms, we got Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to our podcasts. Continue to download them, play them. Leave us a rate, leave us a review. We'd be interested in hear what your takes, hear what your feedback says, because we do take that and make ourselves better. But other than that, Angel, do you have anything else before we sign off?
No, and just thank you for listening, and you know, hopefully when you like our content, continue to listen to us even more.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Michael Brantley does come back. Maybe he starts 2 of the games. Maybe he starts one. We'll see. We'll give you the recap, and then obviously we'll have that break on Wednesday. We won't record until we'll have our new episode on Friday. The New York Yankees come into town. The Bronx Bombers, which they really have been not hitting the home run ball this year. But anyway, until then, y'all stay safe. Go Stros.
Let's try.